What's up, YouTube? Metro here 2012. Today we'll be starting our franchise with the Indianapolis Colts. The one thing I think I'm going to do is take four game blocks of 4 games, and decide which one of the 4 games is the most competitive, and then I'm going to play that game. So that way, each season can be 4 episodes of 1 game and 3 simulations. And then the 5th episode of each season is going to be all the off-season activities. So it's going to be 5 episodes per season. We're going to be the Indianapolis Colts. The reason I think this is nice is because we don't just want to win every game or lose every game. I'm going to be on probably all Madden, if not all Pro. So I kind of want to give it a little bit of diversity with me playing the user games and also simulation, showing how good our GM moves have been. We're taking over the Indianapolis Colts. We're a decent team, but also have a lot of players that may be leaving and a lot of older players that are probably on their way out. So it'll be interesting to see how we can kind of take over this team. Marlon Mack is now out for the year after week 1 with a torn Achilles, so Jonathan Taylor is going to get his shot to have a good rookie year. T.Y. Hilton's on the last year of his contract. Phillip Rivers is on a 1-year deal. Jacoby Brissett's on the last year of his deal. It's actually interesting because $45 million of the salary cap right now is tied up in these 2 quarterbacks that are both expiring at the end of this year. So right now we have 0 cap room, but with those 2 quarterbacks at the end of the year off the books, we'll have to see if we're going to re-sign one, but we're going to have a bit more salary cap. There's a few more salary moves we can make, but I think this will be a really interesting team to be, being that we have maybe 1 or 2 years to be competitive, and then it's likely going to be a rebuild process. So I think that would be a really fun franchise to do. Let's go for it right away. If we can't get it, let's go for the rebuild. Buckle up. Here come the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I know we already have 2 quarterbacks on the roster that are getting a lot of money. This would cost us hardly anything to sign Josh Rosen to the roster. He's only normal dev. He's been in the league for 2 years. He's only 23 years old. I know the Colts have drafted Jacob Eason, but they didn't know Josh Rosen was going to be a free agent, so I'm going to put him on the roster. We might try to train him up a little bit on the side kind of during the year, but I think having Josh Rosen just makes the storylines kind of interesting here because he can learn under Phillip Rivers for a year. He doesn't have to be thrust into a crazy situation. We can give him dedicated training time that we're going to work on his mechanics, his offense, to see if he can be a good quarterback for us going forward. You never know what's going to happen in the offseason, but it is kind of a fun thing to have him on the roster for this year and see if we can get him to be a better quarterback. I think it's a very interesting first signing for us. Okay, so we'll be signing Colby Parkinson. He's currently on the Seattle practice squad. 6'7", 250-pound tight end out of Stanford. Only 21 years old. He's 65 overall. We have Jack Doyle for 1 or 2 more years, but I'm going to be signing Parkinson. I do like having tall tight ends, and he's just a big guy, so excited to have him on the roster. We're also going to sign Javelin Guidry out of Utah. 22 years old, 96 speed as a corner, only 64 overall. We're going to sign him just to see if he has a chance to grow with the roster. I think I can sign him. Don't have enough salary. Okay. I think we might cut somebody else in order to sign him. No. I think we can live without him. Alright, so we're getting into week 1 action here. This is going to be a super sim game. Let's go ahead and get into the simulation. In Jacksonville, we take the lead 7-0. Jacksonville answers back with a touchdown. Going into halftime, they get a field goal. Now they get a touchdown. No way we're going to lose. Well, I guess in real life they did lose to Jacksonville week 1. And looks like that's going to be the case here unless we can mount a comeback. Oh, we tie it up and go into overtime. Get a field goal in overtime. Jacksonville answers with another field goal. And they get a second field goal in overtime to beat us. So this is a realistic start to the season. We ended up Colts lost to the Jaguars in week 1, so I guess that's what happened. So there you'll have it. Let's go look at the stats really quick and get into the next few games. Looks like Minshew had a pretty good game. We're going to look just at our stats. Phillip Rivers, 37 of 53 for 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Rushing, Jonathan Taylor ran for 80 yards on 22 carries, no touchdowns. Receiving, Michael Pittman had 10 catches, 90 yards, a touchdown. That's awesome. Pascal, 8 for 77. Hilton, 7 for 74 and a touchdown. Defensively, Kenny Moore had 8 tackles. Let's look at total tackles. Kari Willis, 10 tackles. Kenny Moore, 9. Houston, 8. Tackles for loss. Justin Houston had 2. Hooker had 1. Bobby Okereke had 1. DeForest Buckner had 1. And Rocky Sin had 1. No sacks, no interceptions. Alright, let's go ahead and look at our next few games. Alright, jumping into week 2, we're playing the Minnesota Vikings. Going to go ahead and super sim here. This week is at home as the Vikings open up with a field goal. We answer back with a field goal. No scoring for a little bit here. Vikings end up getting a touchdown and field goal. We get a touchdown. Okay, sticking in this thing. 13-13. Field goal lead for us. Get a touchdown there. And the game's over. 16-23 victory for us here against the Vikings. Let's see the stats of this game. Rivers, 22 of 34, 64% completion, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 91 quarterback rating. Rushing, Taylor, 16 for 72, no touchdowns again. Nyheim Hines got 28 yards. Receiving, Pittman, 6 for 49, 2 touchdowns, and another really good game for Michael Pittman. T.Y. Hilton, 5 for 53, Doyle, Hines, Jonathan Taylor got 3 catches for 46 yards. So all-purpose yards, Jonathan Taylor did pretty well. Defensively, total tackles, Tavon Wilson, Malik Hooker, Kari Willis, Okereke. Tackles for loss, Darius Leonard, Justin Houston got 1. Darius Leonard got 2 sacks. Houston got 1. DeForest Buckner got a half. Okereke got a half. No interceptions. Let's go ahead and go back to our next sim game. Alright, so our last simulation game for this episode is against the New York Jets. Let's go ahead and launch the Super Sim. We open with a field goal. They get a touchdown. Getting close to halftime here. Nothing doing. Coming to the second half. Still only have a field goal. There's a touchdown for us. Now up field goal. Jets answer. We get another field goal, and the Jets can't make it all the way down the field, and we're going to win just by a field goal. 13-10, really low scoring game. Phillip Rivers had no touchdowns. Let's take a peek at the stats here. Colts, 89 passer rating, 20 of 29, 210 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Rushing, Jonathan Taylor had 20 for 63, no touchdowns. Nyheim Hines got 11 carries, 25 yards, but he had the touchdown. Receiving, Michael Pittman again led the team, 5 catches, 42 yards. Jonathan Taylor had 5 catches for 63 yards. He's being a really good receiving back so far. Jack Doyle, Zach Pascal, T.Y. Hilton, only 2 catches for 16 yards. His contract is up for renewal. I'm not sure if I can or if I will do it, guys. Still thinking about it. Defensively, Bobby Okereke led the team with tackles for a loss as well. He had 2. Darius Leonard had 2. DeForest Buckner, Justin Houston, D'Amico Autry, Anthony Walker, Xavier Rhodes. No sacks, no picks. Alright, so that's all of our simulation games. Let's go ahead and get into our one that we're going to play. T.Y. Hilton's contract might be a little bit difficult right now. I think we're going to wait until the off season and then try to sign him for something more realistic. If another team swoops in and offers him a ton of money, then we can't really do anything about it. But we're going to try our best to sign Hilton in the offseason. Marlon Mack, I think we're going to let walk definitely for that much money. So, yep, just wanted to update you on that. Alright, guys, getting into the action here. The Bears have the ball in the red zone. Looking to score here, Mitchell Trubisky in the shotgun, 3rd and 9 from the left hash. Scrambles out to his left, has a man open, doesn't throw it. Decides to scramble and goes down early. Kind of a chicken move there, but now 4th and 5. The Bears are going to have to settle for a field goal from the left hash here. Get a good chance at blocking that one, but unfortunately come up short. 3-0 now the score. Colts end up getting the ball into the red zone. Pitch to Jonathan Taylor. Gets to the outside. Enough for a first down. Gets the ball to the 4-yard line. Not enough for a first down apparently, as it's 2nd and inches. Let's see if we can punch this ball into the end zone here. Taylor lined up along Rivers in the shotgun. Handoff goes up the middle, finds a crease. Looks like he got in, but says he's stopped short. So we're going 1st and goal from inches here. Audibling a few times depending on their defense. Finding the play we like. Taylor open in the flat. Gonna get it over to him for a receiving touchdown. Good job getting open by him, and good find by Phillip Rivers to get it out in the flat. Usually not your first read there, but he didn't have coverage until the safety got over, so pretty easy to get to him. Now Taylor on the screen pass, unable to make a man miss, and that'll be it on 3rd down. 4th and 12, we'll have to settle for a field goal here to try to go up 1 touchdown. Blankenship comes into the game. Looks like a pretty good kick directly through the uprights, and we'll take the 1 touchdown lead over the Bears. Now getting the ball inside the 5 again, Rivers is calling some audibles, seeing something he likes on the defense. Drops back to pass. Jack Doyle wide open in the end zone. No one was covering him. Gets a secure catch on 3rd and goal to go up 2 scores now. Getting the ball inside the 10 again. Taylor's going to run it up the middle. This time has enough to get it into the end zone for his third touchdown of the day. That was his 2nd touchdown. His first rushing touchdown, he already had a receiving touchdown. Now the pitch to Taylor on the outside. It's the 4th quarter. Up by 21, and Taylor fumbles it on the 10-yard line, and we don't have fast enough guys to catch that corner. He's going to take it all the way. Doesn't matter much because we are up 21, so it's still a 2-score game. The Bears end up with 17 points. We end up with 31 as Trubisky looks a little sad there. Forgot to record my audio here, so I'm going to do the voiceover. Just looking at stats, Phillip Rivers had a pretty good game. Taylor ended up rushing it 49 times for 183 yards. This was because I was doing play the moments, and the computer ran the clock a ton. So I don't predict that will happen anymore, but that was a huge game for him. He only averaged like 3 yards a carry, but we gave it to him 50 times. So pretty good receiving game as well. Defensively, you can see here, very average game. A few tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, 2 picks. So yeah, that should be all for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the format of this, let me know in the comments below, but I will see you in episode 2. Peace.